All right. Hello, hello, hello. Okay. All right. So this is the first video for Unit 2. This is my fourth attempt at recording this because my computer is being difficult today. So, uh, apologies if I seem a little scatterbrained. I've done this a couple of times now. So this unit, or this video, we're just going to go over this section of the notes. And then I want to talk a little bit about the first topic for this unit because it is a little different because there's a lot of different things that are in there, but we'll talk about that more at the end. So this unit is over the periodic table, how to read it, how to use it, all of that fun stuff. The idea is that by the time we get through this unit, you should be able to find something on the periodic table and be able to list off half a dozen things about it without really having to think about it. Okay? That's the goal. Okay? And everything we do in this unit, you will use extensively in the next unit. So you have to learn all of this stuff in order to be successful in the next unit. So don't just purge all of this at the end of the unit. You're going to need this stuff. So first off, we need to talk about, the first periodic table, because the one we have today is not the original one that was designed by Dmitry Mendeleev. In 1869, Dmitry Mendeleev tried to organize the periodic table, or organize the elements. He wasn't calling it a periodic table. He organized the elements based on a pattern that he had noticed. So what he did was he put them in order based on their atomic mass, or what we now call the average atomic mass or atomic weight. And then he hit enter or return and created a new row every time he noticed a series of properties repeating. And so he ended up with a table that had all of the elements on it, or at least all of the known elements at the time. And he noticed there were some holes in his table, and he was able to predict the existence of half a dozen elements based on his organization. Now, since then, we no longer use the atomic mass to organize the periodic table. Nowadays, we use the atomic number instead, which is something we will talk more about later. But he is the first one to kind of go, hey, there's a pattern here. Maybe that's something we can make use of. And we have gone and done that. So the periodic table today, while it is different, it is very, very similar to his original periodic table that he designed. Okay, so it wasn't perfect, obviously. We don't use it anymore. But it was very similar to the one that we have now. We'll talk about why that is more in Unit 3. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the note portion of this video. The thing I want to mention here before I go on is, or before I close out this video, there are several different things that I'm going to expect you to be able to use looking at the periodic table. Periods, groups, blocks, classification, families, lions and tigers and bears, oh my. There's a lot of stuff. Now, each one of these separately is very, very simple. It's when we start bouncing back and forth between them that kids start to have a little bit of trouble. So, I could give you a separate quiz for every one of these topics, every one of these little things that we're going to do. They would be very small quizzes, and we would take one every day for the next 2 weeks. I don't think you guys want 15 quizzes this unit. I'm exaggerating. It's not 15. It'd be 10, I think, for the unit. I don't think you guys want 15 quizzes. So instead, what I'm doing is I've got several bell works to practice these individually, several worksheets that I've set up that will practice these. And then on the quiz, we're going to mix them. And so you'll have to be able to identify all of them on the quiz. Now, if you're learning them as we go, that shouldn't be too difficult. If you're putting it off and trying to cram it all in before the test, you're going to have trouble. Okay, so the quiz, when we get to it, It's going to have several different things on it. I think it's scheduled, well, I'm not going to worry about that because I'll reuse this video next year. But we'll have one quiz over all of this periodic trends stuff. And I do believe there are 6 things: groups, periods, blocks, cells, families, and classifications. So yeah, that's 6. And you're going to have to be able to tell me any of those 6 things. Now, cells isn't so much something I can test you over really easy, but atomic number and atomic mass is. So I guess 7. But that's all stuff we'll talk about in future videos. That's it for this one. I'm going to close out here. Have a great day, night, morning, whatever it happens to be, and I'll see y'all next time.